Hey now. Well, I mean, I recorded a secret birthday message the other week for Sap, who was, ancient. Equally as ancient is Rob, 50 years old today, and still going strong, going. Um, Happy birthday, mate. I hope you have a lovely day. I don't know what to really say. I mean, I would say um, drink and be merry, but as we all know, you can only really handle, you know, a half, or or just not actually get one or whatever. So drink is not really on the equation. I don't know, really. Just have a load of fun. It's great when you get old. You can literally wet yourself without having any fear because it's normal. When you smell of old cabbage, it's just accepted because that's just what happens. And yeah, your hair falls out, and then before you know it, you're in a rocking chair. Cool, that's depressing, isn't it? Not as depressing as a Friday practice session, or as depressing as the Monza Grand Prix. Anyway, see you guys next week for more fun in frolics. Yes, frolics.
Thanks so much for that, Paul. I think I just did record this to say thanks, because otherwise, if I just let the music play like we did with Sap, there'd be no mention of this ever again, because you sent it over just after we'd finished recording. And I thought that'd just be rude to completely ignore the fact that you were here wishing me happy birthday and wishing me into a rocking chair. Second thoughts, I probably shouldn't have bothered.
Hey now, welcome to the Dirty Side of the Track, America's leading Formula One podcast. I'm Brian, that's Rob. Today is Rob's actual birthday, like the day of his birth. It is Sunday, September 14th. We're recording this on his birthday. Thank you for doing this. I have a gift for you. It is from an old Lotus F1 car. Yay! Happy birthday, Rob.
How did you know that's what I wanted?
I sort of figured. I spent all my money on finding that on YouTube.
Oh, well, it was money well spent. Thank you very much, sir. Well, it's a good job it's my birthday, and there's that to be excited about, because from the world of F1 this week, it was a little bit of a nothing burger. We've really had to scratch around to try and find something to talk about. So we've got some news and social. Warning, it's very light. Brian's done. Brian's done a sterling job and found a few videos. Then we are going to look at, there was 8 races left, and we were debating what to try and call the feature. And we went back and forward. I was like, there was a film called Super 8, wasn't there? And not only was there a film called Super 8, there was a film format called Super 8 as well. People used to shoot home movies on Super 8. Right. So we have our own. Those 2 Super 8s aren't good enough. We have our own Super 8 storylines to look across the last 8 races. Then we'll preview Baku. And just remembering now, we should probably do casino game picks for Baku as well.
That would be smart.
Because we only did. That would be smart. So let's jump in, and then I will randomly go and get the casino game stuff ready while you're doing your video vault.
Sounds good. Talk about the news. There was one story. One story.
Well, there's a second one that I just put in now, but it's not really
one
F1.
Big one.
But anyway, Sainz won his right of appeal against his incident with Lawson last week, which we both thought was going to be on Lawson, but was then on Sainz.
It was 2 weeks ago, yeah. 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, sorry. But, you know, it's okay. He's had his penalty points wiped out from the incident, but go back and do anything about the race results, so he still gets dinged with a 10-second penalty. I know they can't go and redo that after races. They can't really go back and go, well, that's right. You shouldn't have been penalised there. We'll give you your 10 seconds back, and we'll try and work out all the permutations of how the race would have gone. So I totally understand why they can't. It just feels like, can't they try to sort this stuff out on the day a bit quicker?
Well, do you remember he said, I would like to talk to the stewards about that. And in F1 Live after the race, he was in the paddock, actually, in the interview pen, and he said he was told they would not take his discussion. They wouldn't take his conversation that day, and they sent him on his way. And he was frustrated by that. We agreed at the Dutch Grand Prix he didn't deserve that penalty. We both thought it was Lawson, if anything, but probably a racing incident. We were fine with it being an incident, but we definitely didn't understand Carlos being penalized. So I'm with you. Day of would be better. People make mistakes. I appreciate the fact they're amending it and taking away the penalty points on his license. But yeah, they screwed him by 10 seconds on that race. That's nothing you can do about that. And that's unfortunate when mistakes happen. My problem was them saying, no, we don't want to talk to you after the race. Talk to him then.
Yeah, exactly. So that was the big F1 news. Then something came up that I haven't really properly looked into. So we'll do like a real half-assed token gesture covering of it. But and the reason I found this was that I saw a picture, or no, video of Max Verstappen in I think it's a GT3 car, looking to be overtaken by everybody that was competing. And there was like that clickbaity title of, oh, Max is like, not able to compete outside of F1. Did you see any of this?
I only saw the lead up to it, where it said he would have an instructor for his first time around. And I'm thinking, who's going to teach Max how to drive anything?
So, and I kind of quite like this, right? He has to go through the same permit tests as anybody else does that wants to race in this series. Just because he's F1 champion, they don't just give him a pass and go, oh, yeah, go on, you're fine, jump in. And I know he probably could, but they don't do special conditions and say, no, if you want to come, you've got to do this. And it looks like part of it for him to obtain his, whatever it is, DMSB permit, is that when he competes in like a detuned car, which is about 100 bhp less than the rest. So like he did a phenomenal job in qualifying. He did what Max does and stuck it up there. But then kind of once he was in action, it was just going backwards, which must have been a very strange feeling for him, being overtaken by many, many folks, because that doesn't normally happen to him. But yeah, I was quite happy they don't just give him a freebie and just go, well, you're F1 champion, there you go, jump straight in. And I think he quite likes being treated like any other driver should be to earn his stripes in that series. So who knows? 2026 regulations don't work and he gets a tractor of a car, he might jump across to a completely different series.
He always could.
What is all this that you've been putting in? Because you've been busy and I have no idea what this next part is.
Well, it's your birthday,
so we're going to one of them.
We're going to use Slap House to introduce some stats.
Oh, excellent.
Sap Stats, Rob's birthday Slap House random stats edition. All right, so I've been jonesing to do some Sap Stats because the last two races we've recorded right as the race ended. We didn't really have time to compile what I would normally would for stats. But I saw this on Reddit, on the Formula One community, and I loved it. It was where drivers stood with penalty points. And it's easy to say, we all know Ollie's had some challenges. He had those red flag infringements in Silverstone. He's had some other problems. He's by far the leader at 10 penalty points. I say by far. There's a one-step delta to Max at 9. So a reminder for all listeners, if you're newer to this, if you hit 12, you get a one-race ban. They call it the Kevin Magnussen rule. And so if you get to 12, you get to sit out a race, which was a big deal when there's, tight championship contention. So
what I do like on this, because sorry, go on, you found it, you cover it, and then I'm just being all birthday boyish and jumping in.
Well, that's okay. What I like about this is it shows where people stand. So Ollie's at 10, so he's in danger. More often than not, when you get a penalty in the race, you usually get 2 penalty points on your license. That's kind of the most common. We see some 1s, we see some 3s. But if you had to guess, for most penalties, it comes with 2 penalty points. So Ollie is not far off a potential ban. Max has 9. Obviously, he got, I think, 3 for the George Russell incident where he turned in on George at Imola. Interestingly, the reason I wanted to highlight this is Oscar is 3rd with 6. Now, he's very far away from a race ban, so that's not a concern. That's not the reason I'm bringing it up. I was just kind of shocked that Oscar was tied for 3rd with 6 penalty points. The reason I'm highlighting this, and I love this, is that only one driver has it for all the same thing, where they have a material amount of points. And these are all broken out by different types of infringements. I mentioned Ollie has red flags infringements and causing a collision penalties. Max has a variety of things. Driving slowly. We have forcing a driver off the track. Collisions. I think a VSC. And so everyone has like a mix. The only person with the sizable amount of penalty points, he's tied for third with Oscar, is Liam, and they're all for causing a collision. He has 6 points, at least 3 incidents probably, and they're all for causing a collision. It's all green. Now, when you get to the lower end, you get like Albon and Gasly, people with just one penalty, it's all obviously one thing. But for multiple penalties, the winner of causing a collision, Liam Lawson.
Yeah, actually, yeah, he is just about, isn't he? He's because what I was looking at, 2 things stood out to me was Lawson at one end is just Mr. Consistent. If he's going to get penalised, he's going to get penalised for causing a collision. Max is trying to collect the set. He's the only one with more. Everyone else has only got 2 maximum, right? Behrman is all red flags and collisions. Piastri is all, what's the orange one? Safety car and collisions. Stroll is collisions and forcing a driver off the track. So I won't read the rest of them out. If anyone's got more than 1 category, it's only 2 categories. Max has got 1, 2, 3, 4 out of almost like a potential, whatever it is, 7. So I think he's trying to collect the set. It's like, what haven't I done? What has he got? He's got, driving slowly. He's got forcing a driver off the track, collisions, and what's that, light purple and VSC. So he just needs to go and do some erratic driving.
Some red flags.
Not obey some yellow flags and red flags, and he can just power through the whole set.
Yeah, I do, but I had to point out because we were giving Lawson a lot of crap for always causing a collision. Well, it turns out we're correct.
Factual.
Yeah, facts are accurate. And then the second thing I noticed statistically that I enjoyed, we talked about this last week after Monza. Obviously, that was the fastest race, but also the highest speed race. And so Max is the highest average speed by a winning driver in a race, 250.706 kilometers per hour. That happened at the Italian Grand Prix. The thing that's cool is Max also owns lowest average speed by a winning driver in a race at 53.583 kilometers an hour. And you say, well, how in the world is something that slow but gets categorized as a race? And we don't see, like, for example, the 2 laps behind the safety car at Spa. This is actually a race that occurred. It was the Japanese Grand Prix in 2022. And I'm sitting here thinking, well, wait. Wasn't that when he won his second championship? It was that like weirdo situation, and it was. So they only ran 28 of the scheduled 53 laps, but full points were awarded because at the time, the way the regulations stated that reduced points should only be awarded in shortened races that ended under a red flag. This race timed out. It ended under green flag, so it was not. The points weren't deducted. And to be honest with you, I never really understood why full points were given to that race and why Max became champion. And he went and sat in that red chair, if you remember that. I never actually remembered the reason. That's the reason, is because it ended under green flag, but it had run so few laps. So full points were awarded. Max became 2-time world champion in the lowest average speed ever by a winning driver. So I just thought that was a cool set of bookends that Max owns.
Yeah, great. Next.
Happy birthday to you. That was my second gift.
Wow, what a stat. I'm just, let's just stop recording now. I'm just going to go and recite that over and over and over for the rest of the day.
Tell your wife and kids.
Oh, definitely.
Brian's got a doozy for you.
What's in the birthday video vault then, Brian?
It is, it's actually pretty good. It's actually pretty good because, Rob, I've given you another gift, a gift of knowledge. Inside Ferrari's F1 bunker, driver 61, 16 minutes. Oh my God, I did not know this was a thing. The Ferrari F1 Cliente. It is a program where you can go buy an actual Ferrari F1 car. They house it for you at the Ferrari, I almost said dealership, factory. And they host all of these Ferrari F1 cars through time, and they rock up to like 6 races a year, 6 tracks a year, I should say, and they bring your car for you, and they set it up, and you go drive your F1 car, and then when you're done, they tuck it away, and they put it back in the Ferrari factory, and it's the most amazing thing I've ever seen. I'm sure it's very cheap. So I couldn't actually get you membership, Rob, or a car.
I was going to say, is this the big build-up to the big reveal of the gift?
Well, I have a link to the program, and you can go get your own car. And the lady's name is actually on there with her email, which is dangerous because I almost emailed her like 4 times this week. I'm like, hi, I'd like a car. I have $5. Can I get a car? It is amazing. We'll put this in the Video Vault notes on the episode. So if you want to check it out, definitely scroll down in the platform you're using and find it. But this was amazing, and I recommend it. 16 minutes, I definitely recommend it. Lando Norris races $500 car across Europe on the Quadrant channel, 30 minutes. This was great. Now, they take some liberties on the clickbaitiness of this. Sure, it's a crap car. Across Europe, and they're not really racing. They're doing like a set of challenges across southern Spain. So, like, let's take it a little easy. They basically finish in like, they start in the morning and finish at lunch. So, like, race across Europe, I don't know about that, buddy. But
So Lando Norris races semi-average car across sections of southern Spain.
No, not even races. Lando Norris drives semi-average car across a morning in southern Spain, but does fun stuff as he stops the car. So, like, yeah, that was what it was. Totally worth it, though, because this had, like, I don't really know his friend Max and the other guys in the cars and whatever. But if you have, it was 30 minutes. So I really invested time in this, and I enjoyed it. So if you are like me and you got 30 minutes to kill late one night, definitely check it out. And finally, this was a great one, Rob. I really recommend all three of these. F1 drivers vote for the best bromance, best hair, and more. The 2025 F1 Yearbook on the Formula One channel. 8 minutes, nice and short. They interview a good portion of the grid and ask them for superlatives, like most likely to, smartest driver. Like we said, best hair, most likely to be on the cover of a magazine kind of thing. And people voted, and they show the winners, and it's great. It is so good. Highly recommend it. My favorite part was when they said smartest driver, and they're all kind of nominating other people. And then they get to Oscar, and he goes, well, me, obviously. And no one else voted for him. I mean, I know he's smart, and he probably is one of the more intelligent drivers, but to vote for yourself for something like that? Like Nico Hulkenberg voted for himself for best hair. A lot of people voted for him. He didn't win. I'm not going to spoil who did. But anyway, it was definitely worth it. It was funny when people went out on a limb for themselves, and then they were out there by themselves. But anyway. And then, of course, best reactions from Maddie P1 and Lollipop Man. Rob, anything for you before we close up?
No, I think I half caught a Mercedes video of Valtteri driving Arsenal striking legend Ian Wright around in a Mercedes, some kind of car, but I can't work out if that was a recent drop or if it's an old one. But it made my day because being an Arsenal fan and being a Valtteri fan and seeing him ride Ian Wright around, it was basically just about a minute and a half of Ian Wright screaming and giggling like a little schoolgirl because the car was going so fast, while Valtteri was just driving around like he was on a Sunday drive. And that was the first thing he said when he got out. He just went, well, once he'd calmed down and the adrenaline calmed down, he just turned around and went, he was just so calm. So these guys must be able to throw what you and I would struggle to even control, just driving in their sleep. It was like that Max video a while back when he drove the Ford, the Mustang around that track.
The GTD.
And he's just like, he's just out for a little casual drive. But,
and then it started raining, and Chris Harris is like, pull over now, please. All right, well, with that, let's close it up. Birthday edition of The Vault done and dusted. Super 8. Explain to the listeners what we're doing with this, because I'm excited.
I don't really know.
Oh, it's going to be great.
Me and Brian get together in weeks when there's no race to preview, and we also have no guests. And the phone call usually goes something on the lines of, "What the hell are we doing this week, Brian?" "I don't know, Rob. What are we doing?" And then we tried to work out some real tenuous link of something we could do. I mean, we have a back catalogue of what I like to call scraping the barrel episodes, and this isn't one of them because this is gold.
This is gold, baby.
Gold,
it's not
Jerry,
like that
gold.
Game I made that time where I had Nicholas Queen Latifah.
No. Please. I try to move on from that every year. I try to forget.
I got to go listen to that one again sometime. All right, so we said 8 races left. What are the Super 8 questions we have that we want to solve? And so we have 8 questions, and we're going to debate them here. Rob, for your benefit, number 5, as is listed, gets deleted and replaced by number 6.
I was going to see that and say yes to that. I was going to type it in here so that we didn't have to say it on
it
air,
out
but
loud,
now you've
that's
said
okay.
it. Yeah, it's fine.
Well, they now know how the sausage gets made. Number 1, the first big question that we want to solve as we look at the remaining 8 races is, when will the World Drivers' Championship get resolved, and who wins it? Rob, after you.
Well, I'm going to go first because I'm the eternal optimist, and then I'm going to let you come in and be the party pooper. But it's going to go right down to the wire. It's going to go down to the final race. Probably isn't, but this is heart over head. It goes down to the final race of the season, And then Oscar is still going to win it, but it's going to be close, and it's going to be the last race of the season with a last lap series of lap defensive masterclass from Oscar trying to stop Lando doing lunges all over the shop.
Will Michael Massey, the Australian, factor into this at all in his favor, Oscar's favor? It's even okay.
It's the sequel, yeah.
It is Massey Part 2. I've got the emails. Okay, so I disagree with the timing.
I agree with yours, by the way, but I just didn't want to say same as Brian, so go on.
Well, I think it'll be Oscar, and I think it'll be in Vegas. That leaves 2 races left after Vegas because it'll take him 6 more races, including Vegas. After Vegas, we go to Qatar and then Abu Dhabi. So I think he'll seal it up in Vegas, much like Max did the last year or two. And the rationale is he needs to get, 50 points clear of Lando, because that meant Lando wins both races and Oscar gets no points. So he's got 31-point lead now and 6 races to bring it to 50 or more. I think that's possible, and so I'm going Oscar, Vegas.
So by then, you're saying that he'd have a 50-point lead, and then even if he crashed out and Lando won both of them to score 50 points, on the count back, Oscar would win it on races 1.
Hold on. Actually, one more problem. Qatar is a sprint, so there's 8 points on offer, so now you get to 58. I didn't think of that. Qatar is a sprint, 8 points on offer, 58 lead. It's going to be tight. It's Vegas.
Should we edit this bit out?
No.
Super 8, and we've screwed up on number 1.
What's the opposite of super? Pooper 8.
But still Vegas, because maybe he gets more than the 50-point lead by Vegas, right? There we go.
Maybe so.
Saved
All
it.
right. Second question. Battle for best of the rest. Will Max take it, or can George swoop in? And speaking of George, we have some music to tee this one up. The Jetsons. George Jetson himself.
So this one for me, you've got right now Max on 230 and George on 194. So he's 36 points behind, and isn't that pretty much the gap of Lando? And so if everyone's saying that the title isn't over with a 30-odd point gap, then we have to say that second place isn't over with a 30-odd point gap.
Third place, yeah.
Third place. But yeah, I just don't know that George can be consistently ahead of Max. And even if he is, he'll only ever be maybe like a place, which isn't going to be enough to chip into it, I don't think. So what did you have? What did you say, By?
I said no, there's no way. I said Max is going to win it. Not only that, I think Max wins another race this year. And I think he wins in Vegas. I think Oscar comes second to seal up his championship. Although I forgot about the sprint in Qatar. So yeah, I definitely think Max can win another race. I think he will hold on to third pretty cleanly.
Oh, okay, then.
I actually think he may extend his lead over George.
Okay, then. So although we didn't put this one in here, let's just sneak a little curveball on you. Does George come fourth, or can Charles put a run at George? Do we think Ferrari, and this actually will come up in a little bit later on, but do you think George is basically therefore in witness protection in fourth, or do you think Charles has got a run at him?
I think George is in witness protection in fourth.
Okay.
I don't think Ferrari's good enough right now for Charles to do much more than basically be neck and neck with George in most races, fighting for a possible podium if something happens to Oscar, Lando, or Max.
No, that's fair. So kind of, our big headline story so far, we're saying Oscar for the title, Max to secure third, and George just could probably like hang up his racing gloves and go home now and stay in fourth. Then
I think so, don't you? I mean,
the Ferrari fan in me would love to do this, but we'll get to that on Super 8 number 4. But first up, we have Super 8 number 3, and this one caught me by surprise, because as we were looking, I won't say scraping the barrel, but as we were looking for storylines to pick apart and not just all make it all about the drivers or constructors type, we want to try and go all the way through the grid. I was scanning down the stand-ins, and I was like, hang on a minute, my internet's broken. It says that Lance Stroll, after all these races, is leading Fernando Alonso. So the daddy boy that can't race and should be kicked out because everybody hates him, there's 2 points clear of someone that everyone holds up in esteem and is one of the best drivers ever. That you can't have both sides of that argument. So I put it to you, Mr. Sapp. Can Lance hold on to that over 8 more races?
Well, we need a little music at the end of it, so here it is.
Well done, Charles.
Thank you, Brian.
I will play the thank you, Brian thing all day.
Thank you, Brian.
I know it's not even a Ferrari question. Yeah. So this is wild. When we saw this, I agree with everything you said. No, there is no way Lance Stroll finishes ahead of Fernando Alonso. Fernando Alonso will actually take a spanner out of the garage and stick it in Lance's wheel before he allows this to happen. There's 0.0% chance. I don't care if the car breaks down and he has to push it himself and call Lawrence Stroll out to push with him. He's, fat man, get out here and push with me. I'm not finishing behind your son. So Alonso definitely beats Lance. I know it's 2 points, 32-30, but it'll happen sooner than later. It cannot. The up would be down, left would be broken. The world, we'd be in the upside down. We'd be in I don't know how to say it any more than that. There's 0% chance.
Wow. I mean, come on, get off that fence. You got splinters in your ass the way you're not.
Do you want me to put $5 on this stupid bet too? Because I already owe people money from the beginning of the season.
No. And what was the other one you found? I like the extra one that you added to this because I just did the Lance one, but you picked another beauty here.
Yeah, similarly, on our third question, will Yuki finish last amongst all the Red Bull and RB drivers? And so the question there is, obviously Max has many points. Isaac has a good fair amount of points. I didn't even write it down. I'll pop over there because it wasn't really the question I was
38.
asking.
He's got 38.
38. At 20, sitting at 20 is Liam Lawson, who drove for both teams, and sitting at 12 is Yuki, drove for both teams, and is now in the Red Bull. Can Yuki catch Liam, is the question, or will he be the lowest finishing of those 4 RB Racing Bull drivers and do it in the Red Bull car?
Yeah, I think he does, because thinking about it, if he's got an 8-point delta, at best he's usually throwing it up there and scoring the odd point here or there. So he's not going to take big chunks out of this. So even if he gets 10th 8 times and the others don't score again, okay, the best he does is draw level with Lawson on 20. But I think I'd back those guys to just go and grab a 6th or a 7th here or there. So Isaac's not getting caught by Yuki. I don't think Lawson is. I think you're right. I hadn't even looked at that. I think Yuki is going to come last of the 4 Red Bull family drivers, which is unfortunate. I hate it because I love Yuki, but that's pretty embarrassing.
That's really bad. I mean, that's why I asked the question. Is he's had a lot of time in the Red Bull at this point. He had all but 2 races, and to finish behind Lawson, not great. All right, fourth question. Can Ferrari win a race? And bonus points, could it be Lewis?
Pretty good.
Where's that from again?
That's Larry David, Curb Your Enthusiasm. Pretty good.
My heart screams yes to both of them. My head probably says I just can't see Lewis getting to grips with it before the end of the season. And the only one I look at that Ferrari have historically been good at over the last few years, or 2 of them maybe, Singapore and Vegas. They've done well, I think, there. But there's a difference between doing well and winning it. And I think at the moment, with Max on a little bit of a resurgent, Red Bull looked like they might have sort of got some extra performance out of that. I can see it's the Papaya Boys and Max that split all the wins the rest of the season. So unfortunately, the Ferrari fan in me is just crushed and just has to answer this as a no.
Agreed. I also think the answer is no. Ferrari doesn't win a race this year. I don't think it would be Lewis. I feel like he's a constant at this point, 2 to 3 tenths behind Charles on qualifying, and finishing 2 or 3 spots behind Charles often at the races. So the question is, can Charles, for me, as I'm doing the math, can Charles win a race the rest of the year? And I think, unfortunately, the answer is no.
Let's add that to the words of wisdom.
That one actually made sense. A lot of these I'm playing in random order just because.
You don't say.
Just because I am. Number five. Let's shift a little bit from drivers to teams with the Ferrari question. Let's go on even further. Who finishes where from 5th to 9th? This is kind of a loaded question, and I'll explain it in a second. But currently, Williams is in 5th with 86 points. Aston Martin has a bit of a delta in 6th place with 62 points. But then it gets tight. In 7th place, Racing Bulls with 61. Sauber in 8th with 55. Haas in 9th with 44. And by the way, just so we're in the clear, Haas is not in 5th, as I predicted they would be. So they got a lot of ground to make up real fast for me to be right on that. But that said, we have a pretty good battle. What will happen and how will it all unfold for 5th through 9th? And by the way, we're not counting Alpine on their 20 at the end, and above Williams, it's not even close. So that's a good midfield battle. Who's going to get who? Who's going to pip who at the line?
With only 8 races left, that is a lot of decent point scoring for all those teams to do to try and catch Williams. Especially once you consider the Ferraris, the Mercedes, Max, and the Papayas are going to take all the big chunks of points. You're really probably trying to pick up the lower end of the 1, 2, whatever it is type point. So 8 races left. If you only score a couple of points a race, that's 16 points that Aston Martin are getting.
Right.
Doesn't even, Williams could take all 8 races off and not get caught. So you're going to be really looking for some kind of Hadjar getting a podium type outlier to really take a bite into it. And while I think that could happen again, I don't think it will consistently happen at the same teams. So even if if Racing Bulls go and get a podium, well, if Aston Martin then go and get one as well, they're just taking points off each other. So I think Williams have got the cigars out and their slippers on for 5th.
I agree.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But I don't see Haas making a run at this.
I don't either. I just think 9th.
Okay.
Put those two aside on the ends.
Yeah,
I agree with you 100% as I thought through this. Williams stays 5th. I think you see Haas in 9th. The question then is 6, 7, and 8.
6, 7, 8. I've got a sneaky feeling that Racing Bulls are just carry on pulling this out and they're going to sneak past Aston. I think then that's the only movement for me. I think Sauber stay where they are. So I'd say Racing Bulls, Aston, Sauber.
I have the same. Racing Bulls, Aston, Sauber. However, I would add a little note to it. I actually think those 3 will be super tight because those 3 teams all feel like they're on the rise. As you mentioned, Aston Martin have looked faster at some tracks than they have all season. I think Fernando's got to score some points to get ahead of Lance. Racing Bulls have looked really good for most of the season. They just haven't always been able to capitalize on it. Not every track suits their car. And Sauber, out of nowhere, has been getting points. But in Bortoletto, we have sang his praises. How many times is he going to drag that thing into Q3 and end up finishing 7th or 8th? And I think we may see them, all 3 of them, get close to Williams, not pass him. So I'm with you. Williams holds 5th position. But I do think you may see Williams, Racing Bulls, Aston Martin, Sauber all within 10 points of each other. And that's the order I have. Racing Bulls ahead of Aston. So.
Okay, well, I'll let you go first on this one. Super 8, number 6. Will Alpine score another point this year, and could it be Colapinto? such a mean load.
Came in like a torpedo. Sorry, I thought you were done. No. Yes, they will score a point. It won't be Colapinto, though, is the no. I think Pierre will get into the points at some race, he won't, not in a sprint, but Pierre will drag that thing somewhere into a point for 10th. So, yes, they will score another point. It might even be just another point. But it will not be Franco. He's going to finish on a goose egg, I think.
Yeah, and I don't know. It just looks such a bad car. And now Gasly's not even got anything to prove because he signed up till 2028 or whatever it is. So he's not even having to secure his seat. He could be dialed out now for 2026. I'm going to say no to both. I think Alpine finish on 20.
Wow.
They finish on 20, and because the others are all getting better. Even Sauber are kind of getting into the mix, and Bortoletto's up there all the time. It will need something strange like weather or a crash or something, which I know can happen. But kind of that sort of external interference aside, if it's just car performance, I'm a double no here.
Do you remember at the beginning of the year when we were meeting with other pods and other people and guests, and we both mentioned how it was the same chassis year over year, and everyone's like, oh, it's fine. And we were like, no, it sounds like a bad move. And then here they are. We were right. We got one right.
No, I will quite happily put my hands up and say I was massively wrong on this.
Oh, I was the one who said it was a bad move.
You said it was a bad move, and a few others did as well. And I was like, well, if the chassis was good and all you're doing is tweaking aero, then aero doesn't need too much of the chassis change. So maybe they're just saving money and all they got to do, they realize, is tweak the aero. Well, it turns out it was more than a tweak that was needed.
More than a tweak. There are 3 sprints left at Coda, Brazil, and Qatar, as we've already established from the earlier question. Will any of them be good? And if so, which one will it be?
If my grandmother had wheels, she would have been a bike.
To do.
If my grandmother had wheels, she'd have been a bike.
Will any of them be good? Yes. Brazil usually gives us a good sprint. Kota, I always wish it does, but it never seems to. It just always turns into a procession. And Qatar, I don't think that will be it. Yeah, so I'm just going to say 1 out of 3. I think Brazil gives us the best sprint out of those 3, and the others are a little bit processional.
I
What do you
think
think?
we're going to see Codas be amazing, and here's why.
Oh, okay.
Because as Lando will have a few chances left to get points off Oscar, and he's got to do it. He's got to do it soon, because if he doesn't, this things go. It's 31 points we already talked about, and we both think Oscar's going to win it at Vegas, if not, at the end of the year. Lando needs points, and so I think we'll see the Coda sprint possibly have some of that aggressive nature, and Lando trying to take points wherever he can find them. So I agree with you on Brazil being great. I think, or at least I said it'll be okay as well. Usually it's better than okay. And you can rescue me from Qatar. When that's on, just wake me up and let me know when it's over. Which is another reason why I was hoping they'd wrap it up in Vegas, so I can half-heartedly watch most of the Qatar stuff. But anyway, take us home with number 8, Rob.
What will be the biggest banger of a racer left to come and the biggest snoozer? Now, you should always finish on a high, so let's do the snoozer first and then the banger. You've put 2 great snoozer choices in front of me here: Mexico or Abu Dhabi. I mean, I can't really argue with either of those. I think I've tried to call the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix in our show notes Abu Dhabi both times we've recently reviewed it. So what else have we got left? Let's just make sure. Let's just remind everybody. We have got
So we got Baku,
which is up next, Singapore, Kota, Mexico, Brazil, Vegas, Qatar, and Abu Dhabi. Singapore usually gives us a good race. Kota usually gives us a good race. So yeah, I think you're right. I think it's between those two as a snooze fest.
Qatar wasn't great. It had its moments, but
that's true. But I love the country. I've been on there on vacation many times. I love the food. But I just have to say, Mexico. It just even the baseball bit never saves it. It's too tight. It's too windy, and nothing ever happens.
Yeah, I agree.
What about you?
Yeah, Mexico. Those were the 2 I'd laid out, Mexico and Abu Dhabi. And, they keep trying to tweak Abu Dhabi by taking out a little bit of a chicane or making a corner a little different. It's not really working. And so, I got to go with Mexico, though. It's just more often than not an hour and a half of just me snoring. And every year we come up with the same idea for that episode title: Siesta, Fiesta? Snoozing, fiesta, snoring, boring, and it's the same thing. So
it is. We're into our 4th year of doing this, and there are some patterns coming up for races that we give titles to. Sometimes we've seen ones that have kind of surprised us one year and bored us the year before, but this one is these 2. It's going to be the big battle. It's the Titanic tussle that no one saw coming. The head-to-heads you didn't know you needed. Which one is going to be worse, Mexico or Abu Dhabi?
And since we want to focus on finish on a high note, we'll talk about what we expect the banger to be. I'll go first. I'll let you close it, birthday boy. So the question becomes one for me of, is it Coda or Brazil of the ones left? And I know you can say I love Baku for reasons that I'm not even fully sure I understand about myself. Singapore, like you say, can occasionally have some really good races. Vegas has been better than advertised. Has it been great? I don't know, but it's been all right. And, we could see something. But for me, it comes down to 2, Brazil or Coda. And I got to be honest, I've always enjoyed the Brazilian Grand Prix and Interlagos, but you really pointed out to me when we started doing this, all of the years it's been great and what to watch. And I've gotten into the track and I'm a big fan. So I'm going to let you take Brazil if you want it. And I'm going to say it's Coda as the American guy on the American pod. Who sounds American. I'm going to say Circuit of the Americas will give us the best race of the year, because I do think it is a good racetrack, and it does give us good racing. So I'm not knocking it. I'm not giving it charity points here. But I will say it'll be the best.
Yeah, and I love Brazil. I really do. And I love the downhill first S corners as you come off the first straight, and that breaking point throws people. We see lots of overtaking action there where people are trying to defend and people throwing it down the inside. We do get, and then within the next, we got another DRS straight where we also get a couple of moves. It can be a little bit professional, sessional around until then the final corner as you're kind of doing the drag race up the hill. But that also gives us some. Kota has kind of got the same thing. It's got the uphill into the first corner, which always gives us people running off wide and trying to come back on track. We've got the ridiculous series of whatever you call them, S's or whatever it is, where you just, if you don't nail it, if you don't get the left, right, left, right, left, whatever it is, quite right, then you're in trouble. And then be a little bit processional around the back. But we've got the big bit where we come around where, is it where Alonso went, launched into the air? It's just tight between these two. I love both these tracks. Maybe I should lean into the American podcast and just pick Kota as well. There we go. Let's say Kota's going to be the one to watch, ladies and gentlemen.
Man, I gave you Brazil as a birthday present. The 4th present of the day. I gave you Brazil and you didn't take it.
Pick what you want. You don't pick. We were allowed to agree, you know.
I know. All right, and on that, we've answered the 8 most burning questions remaining in the 2025 F1 season. I know it was good for me. I hope it was good for you. Should we preview next week's race, which I am insanely excited about, except for the time. I always get caught out by this one. 6 a.m. Central. Dang, son.
Oh, is it really? Is it that early, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, man. So what's that, 7 a.m. for me?
Yeah, you're good at adding that hour.
Okay.
Look at you go.
Oof, look at me. Right, okay, so 51 laps of a 3.73-mile circuit. I didn't bother researching this to see this is still right since last year. I assume it is the 4th longest on the calendar, so hope nobody got longer since last year and I've not checked that one out. 20 corners in a street circuit, and this one, it's just easier just to kind of just, rather than kind of look back at this big, long history of previous winners, we can probably just read them all out when we get there, because it's only been held 7 times. It was held in 2016 as the European Grand Prix, and Rosberg won it. And then down the years, when it's become the official Azerbaijan Grand Prix, Danny Rick, remember him?
I do.
Danny Rick won 2017. Hamilton won 2018. Bottas won 2019. Skipped 2020 because of COVID. Checo won 2021. Max won 2022. So at this point, we've never had a repeat winner. And then Sergio went and won 2023 to be there. Good old Checo coming back next year as Cadillac, the only ever repeat winner of this Grand Prix, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
We maybe will get another repeat this year, maybe, because last year Charles went and put it on pole, but the race was won by Oscar. So Oscar, Charles, George. We finished under safety car because Sainz and Checo had a big smash right at the end.
I remember that. That was crazy. And Checo was sort of already battling for a seat, and that did not help him.
It did not help at all, did it? So, and because of that, because Checo crashed out, Max finished 5th, I think. Lando did a drive, like he started like way back, like 15th or something crazy, and ended up bringing it home in 4th. Not bad for a guy that apparently can't overtake people if there's people in the way. And then we had that gave us the first time since Miami 2022 that Red Bull had not led the constructors title. So that was the shifting of the seas last year that McLaren took over at the top of the constructors title. And another little statoid I found on here. Franco Colapinto, as he got 4 points. He made him the first Argentinian driver to score a point since Carlos Reutemann at the 1982 South African Grand Prix. Look at that. Remember Colapinto when he used to score points?
Colapinto, as they call me. Crash a Pinto, as he is now. I love this track. First of all, I love the castle section. It is difficult to navigate. It gave us some of the greatest team radio ever from Charles.
I am stupid. I am stupid.
That's what he said as he stuffed it on the way into the castle section. In 2017, Valtteri and Lance had a drag race to the line, and Valtteri pipped Lance right at the line for second. It was, I think, Lance's first podium, if I remember right, and he was still super excited. But man, that was great. We had in 2021, Lance and Max had massive punctures, massive blowouts of their rear tires. Lance's, as he came down onto the very long, let's call it straight, start-finish straight, early on, and he was sitting sideways in the middle of the track. He was literally calling for a red flag because he's like, I'm right in the line of fire here. And then not long after, Max had a blowout, and he was right as he was approaching pit entry, and his car veered to the right. Had it veered to the left, it would have been a horrendous accident, as he would have hit the concrete that separates the pit line from the racing line. And so he had a blowout, and he famously kicked the tire, if you remember that, because the 21 was such a bing-bong battle with him and Lewis. But then Lewis, on the restart, his race to win, his points to get, had his brake magic on, went into the overrun area, and that's where Checo won his first race. So sometimes it gives us good racing. We talked about Max winning 22, and then Checo won 23 because of a poorly timed safety car. I want to say it was De Vries, but don't hold me to that. But Max had just gone by the pits, and it is the fourth longest race on the calendar.
That's right, yeah.
Is it always the greatest on-track racing? No. Does it often give us things to watch, talk about, and enjoy? Yes. And last year, Oscar drove, for me, one of the defining races of his young career, where he held Charles off for so very long. And
yes, that's
there's
right.
some great memes of both of them sliding around a corner as they're really just giving it everything the cars have got. You see Oscar come through, fishtail it, and then right into the camera frame comes Charles and does the same. And he held off someone who's actually quite good. Charles usually qualifies quite well at Baku. I don't know why. It just agrees with him, so he really presses it. I anticipate seeing a good qualifying from Charles, but then probably losing those positions in the race.
Thank you, Brian.
No, not that time, Charles. I was being mean. And so, anyway, that's what I'm looking forward to. I love Baku. Renato, I know you're out there, buddy. We've talked about it on the Discord. One day, when we have corporate sponsorship, and I'm able to find like an Airbnb of one of those, patios that go over the back part of the track in the old town. We'll rent that place, and we're going to all get sleeping bags and crash there and watch from the patio is the plan, because that's on my bucket list, so I cannot wait.
Okay, so the last thing we need to do then is do our casino games. So we have the 3 games that we're going to do. The roulette. Brian will spin the table in a minute and pick the number of the position that we need to predict the driver for. Blackjack, we'll both pick 2 drivers and see if their combined points can get us close to 21 but not go bust. And then 3-card poker, we'll pick 3 cars and try to make a hand out of them in terms of trying to line them up in a straight. And I remembered it, Brian. I've written it down. You have to go first on the 3-card poker so that you get to choose the template as we now come to know it.
Yes.
Now, everyone out there, I was going to say everyone out there, try to send low number thoughts, which is stupid because we're recording it, so we'll already have done it. I'm doing a pit lane poll here.
You're doing a poll. You're stuck in the space-time continuum. You and pit lane poll. Wait, if I say this now and you listen later, it won't be able to have gone back in time as I said this. But wait, if I recorded this ahead of when you recorded it, does it still count? And what if I end up in the black hole of a space-time continuum situation?
If a poll falls in a pit lane and there's no one there to hear it, does he make a sound? Anyway, so...
Hey now.
Right. We have had high numbers forever. It doesn't feel like we've had to predict anybody in like the points for about all season. So, Brian, I don't know what you do when you press the button, but try to press the button in a way that generates a lower number.
It is spinning. 11. Do we want to spin it again till we get a single digit, or what do we want to do? Just take it as it is.
It's my birthday. We can do it. Let's spin it again. See what we get.
All right. We shall spin it one more
and
time.
We'll keep 11 if it's any higher than 11.
Well, in worst case scenarios, we keep spinning until we get a single digit. You don't want to know.
Oh, that was 20,
again.
Wasn't it?
14.
Swear, what are you doing with this thing?
15. You sent me the link to this blasted thing. All it does is give you... Are there no single... I see them go by. 14 again. We'll go with 11. 11 was the original. We'll go with 11. And in the off-season, Rob's going to figure out what he gave me here.
Put you first, then. Who's going to go 11th? Who's going to be knocking on the door of the points, but just not get them?
Oh, man, like we said the other day, right? There's so many midfield teams that are worthy of consideration here, from a Sauber of Bortoleto to the Racing Bulls to Aston Martin to Williams. It's a high-speed track. You would say that favors Williams, but they looked terrible at Monza. So
likelihood of safety cars, which means think about how many cars we're going to lose. Will that bump somebody up that shouldn't be there?
For me, I got to go with the guy who I think is going to navigate this well, Fernando. I'm going to put Alonso
Oh, so you're putting
11th.
Alonso just outside the points.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think that car's fast enough in a straight line, but we'll see.
Okay, well, I'm going to go for Lawson. I've got Lawson just outside the.
Will
he
he
won't
have?
cause any
Will
collision.
he be causing a collision? That should be our next bet. Is just a yes/no checkbox. Will Liam Lawson have caused a collision? Sorry,
Yeah,
Liam. You're
exactly.
welcome on the pod to tell us we're stupid anytime you like. But sorry, it's facts, buddy. Sap stats. Deet.
Right. Okay. Let me have a look at this and think about this. Because you've done me twice here recently. Okay. You just can't pick up a Paya Boy, and I can't
No.
pick Max because it's just too risky. Because that's going to take, a winner takes 25 points and then we're bust. We're aiming for 21 or less, so closest to 21 as we can get. So, okay, I'm going to have Charles because I think he goes pretty well here. Let's assume that he repeats what he did in Monza and gets me a fourth. That's going to be 12 points. So I need somebody sixth or lower. I'm gonna do what you did last time. I'm gonna take the Ferrari boys. I'm gonna take Charles and Lewis.
I was going to do that, and then when you said Charles, I'm like, haha, I'll take George and Lewis. I'll take last year's pairing. And then you took Lewis out from under me as well. So I am going to do what you did, but with Mercedes. And I'm going to take George and Kimi, and we'll find out if either of them ever gets a contract.
We'll also find out if Kimi can navigate his way around here without crashing. So
he'll do fine. And you know what? Even if he doesn't, George will finish fourth, and I'll have enough points. So.
True. Right. 3-card poker, Brian, and you get to pick first. I'm already writing it down. You've just got to pick the order.
I just got to pick the order. So it will be the boys. It will be Oscar, Lando, and Max. The question becomes, do I think that Red Bull has enough downforce with the skinny wing, if they go skinny wing, to make the corners happen? I don't know about that. And papaya cars are better at the high-speed corners, and there really aren't a lot of those here. This is kind of like, oh, God, I'm talking myself out of it. I'm rocking in my chair. Got to make a pick. All right, I'm going to say Oscar, Lando, Max. I was going to say Oscar, Max, Lando, and I backed out at the last second because I just didn't have the racing line. Oscar, Lando, Max.
Okay, which means if I'm saying that I want Charles to give me 12 points and Lewis to get me 8, I'm picking them as fourth and sixth. I mean, it never happens that we get the same finishing in the same order in the same races, but screw it. I'm going to go with what happened in Monza and just do Charles, George, Lewis, which is probably a stupid thing to do because now I've got all my eggs in the Ferrari basket, and if they crash out, I'm screwed in both blackjack and the poker. But, there we go. C'est la vie.
C'est la vie.
Oh, so, yeah, race week. The time to get the poster ready tomorrow and then look forward to our midweek predictions and then looking forward to getting up at ridiculous o'clock. That means we're not going to see any practice, are we? Because that's going to be even worse. That's going to be,
And
when's quali then?
I haven't looked. I may be wrong on this, so people tell me, but I've long been under the assumption that if the race time local is 3 p.m., quali is either 3 p.m. or 4 p.m. And so I feel like when they go further east into Asia, they usually use the second half. So I would guess 7 a.m. Central, but I'm pulling up the schedule now. And I'll tell you.
No, I think it's practice 1 for me is 4:30 till 5:30. Not happening. Practice 2 is 8 till 9, maybe depending on work. Practice 3 is 4:30 till 5:30. That's got highlights written all over that.
I was right, by the way, at quali.
No, I don't want shorter races. F1. I'm just watching highlights because it's stupidly early. Quali 8 till 9. That's doable. That's doable on Saturday, and then the race, 7 till 9.
So I was right. It's normally they have 2 spots where they put quali, either at the beginning, same time as the beginning of the race, or an hour into the race spot a day early. This is an hour into the race spot a day early because they're further east, and then doing that for really Europe, but then a little bit for us.
A smidge for us,
Yeah, they don't really care about America.
Okay, well, looking forward to that. So now it's just time to hang up on you and probably go do just a small amount of birthday drinking for the afternoon and evening. Just a small amount.
That sounds good. You should also have.
I had some porridge.
I did that because you like Valtteri. On that note, Rob, happy birthday, my friend. I'm happy you had a little time in your day of Jubilee to celebrate with us as we talked about the 8 amazing questions with the 8 amazing races left. Everyone be well, be safe. We'll see you after Baku.